Yeah. Rock and roll, everybody. Welcome to the Superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and I'm going to be talking a little bit today about guitars. And I had sort of a request the other day. Just hang on, let me turn this off. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know how the sound's going to go here today, but yeah, I got a little message from somebody yesterday. I said, "Hey, why don't you play some guitar?" And I was like, "Well, all right, I will dance. I will be your dancing monkey." But yeah, I was thinking about should I do that or not, and then it was like, well, I don't have enough guitar stands around here. Oh, here we go. We'll use that might work. Yeah, you don't want these babies to fall over. Okay. All right, won't fall over. Here we go. So, got a little bit of a little notice to say, hey, play some guitar. And like, I'm not that good. So, but you know what? I was also thinking to be really unique for this channel is, you go on the YouTubes, and there's like everyone out there is like, oh yeah, here's this 10-year-old kid just shredding in the basement, or oh, this 8-year-old girl can play like Jimi Hendrix perfectly or something. And it's like, it's kind of demoralizing for us old guys because it's like, oh man, now what are you going to do? But so I played guitar really on and off for many, many years, and mostly off. And so I was kind of like, what should I do here? I'll do like a really like I'll show someone that's been playing for about a year consistently. That's me, and not that good. I could do that, and it's unique. So what the heck? And hey, Denis, I see you in the comments there. Great. So I don't know how the sound. I've never done this before. I got my little Orange Crush 20 RT amp down here, and we'll see how it goes. But I'll kind of give you a little musical story about if you want to learn how to play guitar, what can you really expect? And here's a little thing that I'll tie in from my flying background. I'm going to bring in maybe a little bit of learning factors, maybe a little bit of tips that I've used to help people learn how to fly. And I'm using those tips on myself to teach myself how to play guitar, basically. So, okay. And April Sunshine's here too. Great. Hi, April. She says, or he, or whoever April is. Actually, no, I know April Sunshine. That's she subscribes to me on Twitter. Thanks. You're never too old to be a rock star. My ex is 57 years old and kicking ass in the guitar for decades. Yeah, there we go. So I was thinking, okay, what happened was, as a 17-year-old back in the 80s, you want to be a rock star, right? So of course. So I used my part-time job money, and I went out and bought this. I went down with Glenn, one of friends of the family, and he knew this guy that was selling this guitar. And so it was like, yeah, I'll buy it. So I think it was like, at the time, it was like $125 for a guitar and an amp. And then I could just start rocking, right? So it turns out it was just kind of weird. I didn't know. He didn't know either. We were just kind of young. It was this homemade contraption that was just like a piece of junk with a plywood body. And you'd play it and it goes out of tune. And you could take the neck and just wiggle it. Like, it was a real piece of junk. But so it's like, oh, I see you in here, Shecky and Wrench. Hi. So I got this like piece of junk guitar, and like it was cool because you could turn it up loud on the amp and just like, hey, it's all out of tune and junk, but hey, at least you're rocking, right? And then I was like, okay, that thing, my guitar teacher said, what is this contraption? And so I ended up, where was I working at the time? I ended up buying another guitar, a Ibanez Roadstar 2. They don't sell them anymore, but it was a sweet guitar. Bought it brand new, got a good deal on it. Apparently, I didn't know. It was like, oh, that looks cool. I'll buy that. And then I ended up selling that guitar. And one thing led to another. I'm like, I never really practiced that much. I took about 1 year of official lessons on this piece of junk guitar. and then my newer one, and I can strum a few chords and play like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but you got to start somewhere, right? So I did that, and D-Man 50, hi. So okay, that was 17, right? That's like, I'll never do that. And I ended up selling guitars and stuff, but I did buy an acoustic, which is this one over here. I thought, well, if I ever want to learn to play guitar again, I'll just play this acoustic. So this one here I bought when I was 18, I guess. So telling my age here, what would that be, 18? 30 plus years ago? I don't know. You get to a certain age. I'm 52 now. I'll be 53 this month. So, yeah, so this is a guitar I bought back in 1988, and I don't even know if it's in tune, but this is how I'm going to tell you how I got around to playing guitar again. So my girlfriend was out of town, and I was looking at this dusty old thing that I would pick up every 5 years. And then I'd say, yeah, man, I want to rock. And it would be like, wait, I know that. Yeah, rocking. So it was like, not quite. So I don't even know if this is in tune. Oh, it's not. Okay, I won't play this one then. But yeah, actually, that's what it sounded like. So you tune it up. Something like that. Tune it all up. And then, so my girlfriend was out of town. I was like, I'm going to pick this up. So I tune it up, and I go start to tuning it, and my E string up here, it busted. Think, oh, well, I'll just buy some strings. Then I went down to the music store, and I smelled the music store again. The smell of fresh guitars, it's like, there's nothing like it. So I was like, I just need some strings. Then I got home, I cleaned it all up, 30 years worth of gunk on the fretboard. I just used, what I used on it? Farsol, so mineral spirits. That took it all off. I don't even know if that's what you're supposed to do, but that's what I did. Strung it up again. And then it was like, yeah, okay, cool. Now I'm back in business. But I did see those guitars, and she was still out of town. And I did some flight tests at the time. So I was sitting around with a bunch of cash in my pocket. And I'm like, okay, I have to wait on this. So I researched. Another thing too is that I was kind of thinking about getting into it because I was driving up to a couple places out of town to write my ATPL exams, and I downloaded was it Dirty Deeds by AC/DC and stuck it on a USB stick, and I wanted to try it out in my car. And so I'm rocking. And it's like, wow, that I could probably play that. That's kind of bluesy and it's rock, like their early AC/DC stuff. Yeah. And then, I'd seen AC/DC live in concert when I was a kid and see Angus Young running around on the stage. So I was like, maybe I should go buy a guitar. So I had all this cash sitting in my pocket. I went and bought a guitar. So my motivation here, okay, so this is a Epiphone SG standard. And so this is basically kind of like what Angus would play. And I was like, that's it. I'll just become Angus Young. No problem. So anyways, yeah. And then I was also looking online, and then technology had come by in the last 30 years. And you can, like, people, this is how you play this song. And it's like, I remember trying to learn songs off of like a tape. Remember that you'd have your ghetto blaster there, and maybe you hear a song on the radio and you hit record really quick. So you miss the first part of the song, and then you go back and you try to play it. And it's like, what was that? And okay, stop, rewind, stop, play. Oh, I went too far. Okay. I'll forward here. Forward fast. Oh, I went back. Okay, rewind, stop, play. And then you wear out your tape, and then it's just like, okay, I can't learn this. Now you get on you just like stick it in YouTube, how to play whatever, and it just pops up. Some guy says, this is exactly how you do it. Like, wow, cool. Okay, so I'm like, now this is getting doable. But I kind of need a goal. I can't just go out and blow a bunch of money on a guitar unless, like, you're not going to be in a band. They don't even promote rock bands anymore or anything. And I'm too old. You got to be like, pretty young to do that. Staying up late, can't do that. So anyways, Yeah, so I was like, but I'm gonna get the guitar. So I got it, and then I was talking to before I did that. I was having a few beers with the neighbors here, and I'm pretty lucky. I got Travis and Roy. They live in the neighborhood now. Travis, he's in a band, and he's a little younger than me. And Roy's a little bit older than me. I'm guessing. Never did quite find out Roy's age, but he's a really good bass player, piano player. And so, anyways, I was like, well, I could just, start some little band and make $50 maybe or sometime. And, but anyway, so I was thinking about, okay, when people are learning how to fly an airplane, if you don't fly all the time, you get rusty. And that was what over the years when I'd been playing guitar on and off, I'd be rusty. I didn't touch it for 5 years. And then you lose all the calluses on your fingers and it hurts and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I ran into Roy and Travis and another guy that I forget his name now, but he was another musician hanging over at Travis's place. And I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about buying an SG, and I don't know what kind of guitar I should buy. And he says, well, would you play an SG? I'm like, yeah, because I want to be Angus Young, man. He's like, okay, get an SG then. I was like, okay. He made the decision for me, but he had also taught people how to play, and he said you should buy the guitar that you would actually look at it and say, I want to play that. So he said, if he was teaching someone how to play, and the girl wanted to play a pink guitar, you buy her a pink guitar, and she'll play her pink guitar and learn. So it's like, yeah, okay, and did that. And then Roy was telling me, he's like, consistency is the key. Actually, no, I was jamming on Travis's guitar, and he said, you know what? You're not that bad. Give it a year of practicing an hour a day. You'll be pretty good. I'm like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. Now, before, anyone that told me anything that was any type of teacher at all, I'd say, you don't know what you're talking about. But now that I have been a teacher of teaching people how to fly, yeah, you got to kind of listen to the teachers generally. They know more than you do. Even if they're not the best teacher, they still know more than you. So Travis says, yeah, you'll be pretty good. I'm like, oh, all right. And this guy says I should buy an SG, this other guy. And then Roy said, okay, consistency is the key. It's like, wait a minute. That's exactly what Travis said too. So play an hour a day. Consistency is the key. And Roy also said, get a metronome. So I was like, okay. Now, most of the time people have metronomes on their phone, but I'm kind of old school. And I was looking in the online and I got this old school metronome. And you kind of pop this off here. And the way that works is that you wind it up. Don't overwind it. And then you can see there's like a little weight on here. If it's closer to the top, it's going to be a slower tempo. So this is how you practice and you increase your speed shredding on guitar. So there we go. Okay, well, let's and then so you start off with that, and then you get faster and faster, and then it's like that. Okay, so what Roy was saying is that, and I'd heard this before, is that what you should do is do like finger exercises, whatever that may be, whatever your favorite scales are, whatever that is. Just kind of do that, and then and get it like so you have it actually like perfect. And if it's too fast for you, slow it down until you get it perfect. And once you have it all perfect and it sounds nice and clean, then you speed it up one little notch. So you go by increment. And so I started off. I was like, okay, I'm going to take these guys' advice. I'm going to buy the guitar. Then I'm going to rock, right? So let me see here. What's this thing sound like? Let's fire it up. I don't know. I might be blowing your speakers out on this one here. I don't know. How's that sound? Is that blowing your ears out too much? I have the speaker kind of pointed out over that way. So anyways, let me see. I had this little, I also made up a bunch of sheets. Oh yeah, going back to my goal. So my goal was, okay, I'm not going to be in a rock band, but I'm going to be the lead guitarist at the retirement home when I'm like, whatever, 90 or something. that gives me about 30 years to get better. Then I'm in business. So, okay, cool. Yeah, so I made up this little list of, okay, these are the songs I want to learn from AC/DC. Okay, Problem Child, Whole Lot of Rosie, Riff Raff, Highway to Hell, all this other stuff. And then I also kind of kept track of my metronome speeds. So I was doing one. So here's a real easy one, and this will increase if you're learning how to play. Now I have a little distortion on here. And you just go from one string to the next. And then you move it up. Right? But you're doing that with your metronome. So the best I could do when I did that was 108 beats per minute. So let's see if I can do that now. And there's little markings on here. I don't know if you can see that. It might be a little shaky. Anyways, that's what a metronome looks like. So when at first, this is the best I could do. Or maybe I was doing eighth notes. And then, so after a while, but that was like rough at first. I was like, okay. And then I slowed it down. And then, yeah. So anyways, like that. Just checking some quick comments here before they all go by. Okay, so everything sounds good. And D-Man50 is asking, have any Boss pedals, sir? I was thinking about getting a Boss distortion pedal, just like the regular, what is it, DS1, I think. But I can get some pretty good sounds out of my amp here. So okay, so I'm learning how, and like I thought, okay, I got my metronome, and then you can also do some. And that's kind of like a little blues thing you can do, and you do that all the way up to the top, all the way back, and then it's weird after, okay, when you first start playing, my fingers, they were just killing me. Okay, I had no calluses. You are supposed to develop calluses at the end of your fingers. That's you have to, and it will hurt. It's going to hurt for about a month when you're starting off, and then if you take time off of the guitar, I've taken a few days off. I've been doing some work around the house and this and that, but generally I've been trying to do it every day for about an hour, 45 minutes at least, for about a year. And then yeah, okay, so you're going to develop some calluses there. You will slowly improve. At first you'll say, this isn't going to work, and then you'll notice, hey, I can use these two fingers. Like, wow, I can never use those fingers. Like, these ones are your first two. That's pretty easy. You know, you're used to doing that, but getting your pinkies to do stuff, you know, like, you know, something like that. That's hard. And then, so another thing that I was going to talk about too is that, yeah, your wrist kind of might hurt, and it feels weird to, okay, I got to get this finger here, you know. It's really hard at first, but the thing is, consistency is the key, just like my neighbor Roy says. And then I was thinking, like, oh, you know, this isn't working. Maybe it's just the shape of my hand is too weird. Like, I don't know, maybe that pinky finger is like too low compared to that one. And maybe my fingers aren't right. Then I saw some documentaries on Angus Young, and it turns out, like, he's like 5'3" and he shreds. Like, you know, and this is his actual guitar, or his style guitar. And this is actually, it's kind of weird. The SG, the neck is actually kind of out a little further than most guitars. So for me to be playing like this, Angus is he's a little shorter guy than me. It's equivalent to him playing like way out here, and he can still shred. So I have no excuse. And if Angus Young can do it, I can do it. If who is it, Tommy Iommi from Black Sabbath? He's got that little, he's missing parts of his fingers and stuff, and he can still he's in a rock band. So was it Tommy Iommi? Yeah, I think so. And yeah, Black Sabbath. So you can do it. And then I was like, okay, I don't have any excuses. Just keep practicing. Just keep practicing. And even if it sucks one day, it was just one bad day. But that's the same thing as like when you're learning, teaching. So I did a video on this before about teaching someone to like learn how to land a plane. You're not going to have a perfect landing every day. Like maybe you'll be doing your exercises on your guitar and you have a really good day. Well, chances are that's a fluke. The next day's not going to be so great. And then you might have a real crappy day where just nothing's working. Who cares? At least you still practiced and you got the consistency. And then the next day you're going to be better. So anyways, yeah, so that's one thing to look for when you're learning how to play guitar. Because I was kind of like not starting from scratch a year ago, but because I had a little bit of musical knowledge before, but really no practicing, and my chops had all like disappeared. So that was that thing. And then so what I would do is using my YouTube videos and everything and practicing with my metronome. Yeah, and then I was getting faster, it was getting better, and I was like, okay, what kind of what? And let's see if I can play one song all the way through, including the solo. So I mean, you listen to these guys solo, and they're bending strings, they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and you're like, oh, I got it, you know. So okay, that doesn't work. But so I figured, okay, let's start with something really, really easy. And that was so Twisted Sister, We're Not Gonna Take It, right? We're not gonna take it. Pretty simple. Okay, so then I was like, okay, I could play that. It's only a few chords here, and they're just power chords. And that's another thing too. If you're having trouble with you're using these two fingers for your power chords. Wait, that sounds familiar. Cool. That's another one. Smoke on the Water. Learn that one, but the solo is too hard. So yeah. So if you're playing like We're Not Gonna Take It. And then so, but that's right, Wrench. Now you need a whammy bar, but I don't have one on this guitar. Oh man, what a shame. So I'm rocking out and doing other stuff. I'm doing some other stuff on the guitar. And then I actually kind of like sprained my thumb because I was rocking too hard, or I'm old or something, or I'm using the wrong technique. But I think what I was doing is I think I was squishing it too much rather than, and I was using too much thumb pressure on the back. And I was kind of, I don't know, kind of going the wrong angle. And I kind of sprained my thumb. So what do you do if you sprain your thumb? Oh, it's not my fault. It's not because it's the guitar. You see, the neck is too thin and I have bigger fingers. That's why Angus can play it, because he's got his skinny fingers, his little tiny fingers, and he can play that, but I can't. So I need something with a thicker neck. Okay, so I better buy myself a new guitar, right? So that was the evolution of that. And then then I got my other guitar. All right. So I picked this one up. It's kind of a cheapo. It's a Squier Stratocaster. It's a knockoff of the actual thing. It's really pretty cheap. The pickups sound, it's a cheap guitar, but it's got the whammy arm on it, right? So the whammy arm is fantastic. It allows you to rock in proper 80s fashion. So anyways, what do we got here? So now it's like, oh, the neck is much better. Oh, that'll heal up my thumb. But it turns out it didn't. But as a bonus, I got myself a new guitar with the whammy arm, and now I can play the real Twisted Sister, We're Not Gonna Take It solo, right? So here we go. Hi, Doc. I see you in there too. And Mona Moore says, was your girlfriend out of town when you bought the second guitar? Yeah, as a matter of fact, she was. Okay, so now I can do the full. We're not going to take it. So something. Oh, that's another thing too. Did I mention that if you're playing your power chords like that, you can also put your pinky in there. If like that's what Angus and Malcolm do. Malcolm's like 5'5". That's the rhythm guitar player for AC/DC, and Angus is like 5'3". So those guys, they do their power chords using their pinkies. That's fine. So you can go. Whatever that is, and then then you can play the solo properly. So whoop. See, I haven't played it in a while. Here we go. There we go. So that is the simplest rock and roll solo that you can play. So that's my recommendation for someone new playing. And like, what's more rock and roll than We're Not Going to Take It, right? You're all rebellious and in your 50s. So anyways, yeah. So then whatever. Then you're going to go on to. And then you can do all kinds of cool stuff like that. So yeah, and then as it turned out, my thumb was still hurting on this, so I was like, now I'll have two guitars I can go back and forth with. But so the main thing here is to remember is that like, okay, I can't really sing and play and do too much, but you know, it's even fun to kind of, and then you learn. Let's make that a little cleaner. Now this is so now I have like a Stratocaster and like a Gibson sound, and you can do kind of funky jazz. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with different guitars getting different sounds. But yeah, I actually got this one because I wanted to get a little bit more into funk, and I haven't done that much, but you got to get a little thinner pick for that. So that's play that funky music, white boy. But yeah, so this is like gonna good for a good funk sound or a surfer sound. What is that? And then I mess up because I've only been playing for a year. There we go. Willy bully, yeah. I love that whammy arm. Anyways, yeah, so that's what you can anticipate if you're learning how to play guitar. After a year, you can't really play any songs or show off on a YouTube video very well. You make mistakes. If you're trying to perform, forget it. So forget about it. And but you do improve. Consistency is the key. Get yourself a metronome, and it will hurt at the beginning. You think you won't be able to do it, but pretty soon these two little fingers here will wake up, and doing your exercises, that wakes them up. So when you're doing some other kind of thing, hey, all of a sudden these two fingers work, and it's really cool when that kicks in. So hang in there, people that are learning how to play guitar. Even if you're old, you can feel free to use my my motivation of being the guitar player in the in the seniors band at the nursing home. And in the meantime, you never know, you might get into a band and have some fun. I haven't done that quite yet, but down the road, you never know. And okay, so what do we got here? That's about it. I just wanted to do this did kind of I guess answer that. It didn't, but the comment that the guy left me, it didn't really show up, like it's not visible or something. But anyways, you know who you are out there anyways, and there's a little guitar for you. Who knows, I might come back in another year and I'll be able to really rock out. And then that's about it. So let's take a look here at a few comments here. We'll see if we have any questions or anything like that. What do we got here? Oh, remember sheet music. Sheet music was, I mean, I was in the school band too. Played trumpet back then, and so I learned a little bit of music knowledge there too. And but it didn't. Anybody could pick up all this music knowledge very quickly if you practice. Okay, what else we got here for questions? And was your girlfriend out of town when you bought the second guitar? If I remember correctly, yes. I think so. Yeah, or maybe not. I don't know. Oh well, I got it now. So where are we here? I like Wrench's mathematical statement here. What's the right number of guitars? N plus one, where N is what you have now, same as motorcycles. Yeah, I've kind of heard that. I mean, I guess I'm up to three. I'm up to three guitars now, and it's like, yeah, I'll probably get another one. And what else we got here? Gotta pick by the bridge. Oh, okay, yeah, for the surf sound, gotta pick by the bridge. Yep. Yeah, there's you gotta get that, and I don't think. And my amp over here is you can fool around with it for different sounds and blah blah blah. And Monomore asks, finally, do bands do matinees? Yeah, they do. Here and there. Like that'd be best for me because I go to bed early. I'm old, right? They should have like some kind of grandpa circuit or some gray-haired circuit or something like that, where you gig from like noon till 4, and then everyone hops in a cab and have some food, and they're in bed by 6:30 or something like that. But okay, that's about it for today. A little guitar for you. What did I say? Am I too old? What did I title this one? Am I too old? Nah, you're not too old to be a rock star. And the thing is, yeah, no one becomes a rock star now, anyways. It's just you better like it. Oh, then another thing too that I'm gonna put a link in the description below. This is one of the things that told me that made me hopeful that I could learn how to play guitar. Because you look at all these like rock stars and stuff, they've been playing for like 10 years before they even get into a band. They start learning how to play when they're 6. By the time they're 16, they're in a little band and blah, blah, blah. And I saw this interview with Ted Nugent. It was an old interview at Wayne State University. I'll put a link to it if it's still up in the description below. And it's pretty cool that how Ted Nugent he said, yeah, well, I practice like this much. And I'm like, what? That's inhuman. So you got to live on your guitar basically to be that good, or to play drums or anything. It takes an incredible amount of playing to get that good. Yeah, exactly. Wrench is saying here, Beatles played thousands of hours on stage in Germany. Yeah, I mean, who was it? George Harrison was like 15 when they were hanging out in Hamburg and learned how to play guitar, and they're all doing speed and playing 3 shows a day. Like you do that for a year, you're gonna get good. So yeah, but I don't recommend doing speed and playing guitar. Although it worked out for some guys like Lemmy and stuff like that, Motorhead. But even though he was a bassist. But yeah, okay, that's about it. Yeah, okay. Link below to Ted Nugent's little interview, and you'll find out what he did to get really good. And I still think Ted Nugent's a phenomenal guitar player. I think he's really underrated. But and he's just from across the river in Detroit, so I like the hometown guys. A lot of good musicians coming out of Detroit, and actually where I live in Windsor, there used to be a lot of cross pollination there. There's Windsorites that used to play over in bands over in Detroit, and one guy, what was his name? Doc Wright. He played a lot of good surf music. He's last I heard he was like in a nursing home or something like that. But I remember seeing Doc Wright back in the '90s, and boy, he could just pick. He had a Stratocaster, and he was a king of surf. And he did some recordings and stuff in Detroit, and I think might have done some in Los Angeles too. Anyways, that's about it. Okay, cool. So that's about it for questions. A long one today, but oh well. Hopefully somebody learned something. And today is Monday, so I'll be back on Wednesday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern, and we'll just shut her down. Long one. Thanks for watching. Bye.